like a 7-minute banter about Halo and Xbox Series X, and my audio wasn't there. I think Mr. Moody tried to hit me up about my audio, and I didn't see it. So we're gonna do this again. We're gonna talk about this again because why not? Just give you guys my honest thoughts on everything that's been going on with this because this is a real shame. A real shame. And I'm gonna start saying things that a lot of people don't want to talk about. There's a couple of people in the gaming community that's willing to have this conversation. I'm going to have this conversation right now because we need to be real about the situation that's at hand right now in terms of what's happening now and what's been happening for the past couple of months leading into this holiday season and the decision that you have to make as a gamer. 'Cause I know what I'm doing, but as you as a gamer have to make in terms of deciding whether you're going to buy a PS5, an Xbox Series X, or say if you're a PC player, oh, I'm just gonna upgrade my graphics card, my CPU, something like that. Whatever it may be, right? Whatever your situation may be, right? Especially financially, because a lot of people in a lot of rough spots right now, and that's another aspect of this that isn't talked about too much is the financial health of the average consumer, right? Because not everybody's in the same situation financially, right? So some people might have to pick or choose between PS5 or Xbox Series X, right? And today we had some really damaging news that can impact the launch of Xbox Series X in terms of the reason you would buy an Xbox Series X, right? Microsoft's flagship gaming franchise, Halo, and their new title, Halo Infinite, got delayed until 2021. We don't know when in 2021 the game is going to launch. We don't know if it's going to be the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. I don't expect it to be delayed beyond the second quarter. So I do expect it to come in the first half of 2021. But the fact that this has happened, one is shameful. And I'm gonna get into the reason why that's shameful, right? Especially for 343 Industries. And it validates a lot of what people have been saying about Halo Infinite, how shameful it looked in that Xbox Game Showcase. I'm gonna get into that as well. And a lot of the rumors that were circulating within the media about how Infinite can possibly get delayed. And those who reported on that, they're right. People who prognosticated that, hey, this game might potentially be delayed and not come out day one, were correct. So to you, kudos. You deserve a round of applause. Um, but on this situation right now, I don't know what to say. Honestly, because Halo 5 came out in 2015. And I'm a Halo fan. I like Halo. I enjoy playing it. I play MCC a lot, especially my friends. We have a lot of fun on there, even though there's some times where, you know, it's not as fun to play as other days. But overall, I enjoy Halo. I like the franchise, right? Halo's one of the main reasons I play Xbox, on top of other games as well. But this is their flagship franchise right here, right? And the fact that Halo 5 launched in 2015, right? So you launched in the holiday season of 2015. Now, I'm assuming that they started production probably in 2017 of Halo Infinite, right? To get it already to get the announcement ready for 2018, right? Because that's when they first announced Halo Infinite, right? So I'm assuming three to four years you had to work on this game, right? 3 to 4 years you had to work on Halo Infinite, and the game is delayed. The game didn't look good for the Xbox Game Showcase, right? So everybody's upset. The game looks like trash. You know, people are saying that. I'm not saying the game looks like trash. I just said the game didn't look nearly as good as I thought it was going to look based on what we seen 2 years ago with the Slipspace engine and how much they were hyping that engine up. And it looked really good in that first reveal trailer, right? But the fact that this game got delayed, now I understand COVID's a challenge, but
They're
Xbox
not
Xbox
they're
Game
not
Studios.
they're not
Oh,
taking the games they're not taking the game serious, bro. I'm not surprised they fucking delayed that shit. I'll
I'm
just
I'm
keep it
glad
real.
I'm glad you said that because when people were saying that there were issues, development issues with the game, I was like, I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. But after what we've seen with that game showcase and after what we're getting right now today, at 3 p.m. on the dot, 3 p.m., August 11th, 2020, Halo Infinite is delayed to 2021. Makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Hey man,
After
they just want to make sure Craig the Brute looks good, man.
well,
You know
Craig has to look good because if Craig the Brute doesn't look good, then I don't know what's gonna happen.
what I'm saying?
Because if they launched that game the way it looked like in that game showcase, that would have been the damn shame. Because how do you have Xbox executives talking about after we seen the PS5 showcase in June, right? We had the PS5 showcase in June.
hmm
He had the nerve to look somebody in the camera and say, "Yeah, we're confident in what we have in the Xbox game showcase." And then to lead with Halo Infinite looking the way it did. Mind you, we were hype when we were watching it. Planet Xbox, we were watching it live. We were hype. But when you
hmm
when you do a deep analysis into what the game looks like relative to a lot of other games that are coming out or a lot of other games that's on the market right now, that does not live up to the hype whatsoever. Especially when you have to use that game to showcase the power of the Xbox Series X. That no, that's not supposed to happen because this game had 3 to 4 years to be worked on. And I'm pretty sure 343 understood the intended specs of the Xbox Series X way in advance because this
That's a,
these are things that they talk about in production three years ago in terms of all right,
of course.
th- things are moving targets, right? Especially in technology.
hmm
Things get delayed. Supply isn't there. We might not have
Yeah.
as much capacity to make as
hmm
many units of something that we wanted to make, so we might delay it. But Xbox
hmm
Series X is on track. We knew what the specs were last year. We knew what
Yeah,
they were
you already been
what
there.
they were targeting. So I'm pretty sure 343 understood what the intended specifications for the Xbox Series X was, right? And for you
hmm
to still have the game look like that, there's development troubles. You have to hold the leadership accountable because there's no reason why this game should be delayed. No reason. And I don't see PlayStation 5 have issues with Spider-Man Miles Morales coming out this holiday season. Or I don't see Horizon Forbidden West. I don't hear rumors about that game having development trouble whatsoever.
If we're gonna keep it real, think about the exclusives like in the previous generation with the PS4 with Spider Man, God of War. You never seen they're gonna delay it. I mean, they already delayed Cyberpunk already like what twice already. You know what I'm saying? They already and now you delayed this, so it just lets you know that I just that's why I said I question these guys. Like do they even really give a damn? You know what I'm
Do
saying? I
yeah,
just feel like
do they care about Halo?
exactly,
Do they
because
care about Halo?
they just think, oh,
Like
by just the name, oh, we're gonna be
a
fine,
7 minute
without
banter
really
about
showing like,
Halo
okay, how can
on
we
Xbox
improve this?
Series
How
X.
can we make it look, what I'm saying, with the new system, with all the new specs? Okay, how can we, use our platform, use our game to the fullest advantage? You know what I'm saying? When you got the new engine coming out with Unreal Engine 4 next year, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
five.
Five. So there should be no excuse for games, and that's the thing that kind of pisses me off sometimes too. That's why those games, they take so damn long. It's been 3 years. How the hell is this? How's it getting delayed again?
But
You know what I'm
my
saying?
my thing is, they have all the resources that they need at 343. They've had two installments of games to improve on, right? They had Halo
Mm,
4 and Halo 5 to learn and improve on and make Halo
mm,
Infinite to be the best possible Halo game they could have ever made it, from visuals to gameplay to mechanics to story, everything. Multiplayer, no matter what it was, they had the opportunity to build a complete experience. Can they still deliver on that? Yes, because the game is delayed to 2021. But my point is, this shit should have never happened in the first place at all. I don't care what nobody tells me, what type of excuse they try to come up with. Halo 5 came out in 2015. They probably started working on this game 2017 or 2016, right? We can all
mm,
agree on that. But one of those 2 years they started working on this game, right?
mm.
They showed us the Slip Space engine in 2018, and then they gave us another like trailer in 2019, right?
Yep.
So we knew this game was coming. There were indications of this game happening. We knew it was coming, and we knew it was coming to next gen. This is
Hey,
your flagship franchise. Like if this
get
happened
down.
to Sony, people will be like, yo, what the hell is happening? Like, what are you
That's
guys
not a good
doing?
look. That's not a good look when you got IPs like Spider Man, God of War, The Last of Us. That'll look kind of bad if when they have due dates where they have release dates. That's what people expected,
And
and
now
when you delay it,
let me let
that's
me say
not
this.
good.
I understand that COVID has impacted the industry. It's impacting everybody right now, right?
I
And
agree.
Phil Spencer went on CNBC and said that, hey, development is a bit of a challenge right now for a lot of studios, not just us, because now we're working from home. We can't collaborate within the studio and move along with our projects like we were going to do before, right?
Yep.
Now, okay, we understand that COVID's an aspect of it, but your game should have been ready to go gold by now.
It's only been like 5.5 months since COVID.
That's what I'm saying. And by when COVID really started popping up over here in March,
That's what
right?
I'm saying. So March, April, May, June, July. Yeah.
Oh,
So basically
yeah,
5 months.
those
Yeah.
months should have just been polishing your game, working out the bugs, and then boom, you should have a big expansive demo in the summertime. Everybody gets hyped for it. This looks amazing. This is the launch title that we have. This is the flagship. This is what's going to sell Xbox Series X, right? And nobody wants to have this conversation, right? About, all right, if we look at all of the games that were shown from Xbox third party event and then their first party showcase event that recently happened, right? In their game showcase.
Hmm.
How many of their first party titles are launch titles? We don't know when Fate was coming out. We don't know when Hellblade's going to come out. We don't know
We
when
don't know.
Avowed's coming. We don't know what State of Decay 3. All these are
We don't
great
know.
games. Don't get me wrong. But when we
Mhm.
look up the lineup of PS5 games that we know are coming year one versus Xbox Series X,
We don't know. Personally, it's probably gonna be a while. It's probably gonna be a while,
and I
especially like a
understand
game like it's gonna be a while.
these are newer studios, and I said, listen, Microsoft needs to nurture these newer studios and allow them to grow in a way that they can make those AAA bangers down the line. So I don't expect all these studios to come out with their first game under Xbox Game Studios and be like, yo, this is about to be a hit. Like
Of
we're
course.
about to have a Horizon type game or we're about to have a Last of Us type game. No. But you gotta have something quality there that's gonna be like, all right, this is very promising. And some of the games that they did show was very promising. But
Hmm.
games that we seen last year, like Everwild and Hellblade 2, we should have been seeing gameplay and be more anticipated for those games to come out next year at the very least. And we don't
That's a
know.
fact. We don't know.
Even Rare doesn't know what they're doing with Everwild. And
Yeah,
that's
they don't.
shameful. Like who and then
Yeah.
you have to look at Matt Booty, who's running the game studios. You have to look at Phil
Yeah.
Spencer, who's acquiring them. You have to look at these studio heads and hold everybody accountable because you don't s- you don't even see these issues with Nintendo of all places. Nintendo.
I don't know.
And Nintendo doesn't even have the market capital that Sony or Microsoft has.
Uh-uh. Like like I think the only time like a Zelda game got delayed, I think that was like the Wii. What was it? Skyward Sword. That was the only time.
Every time they have
But Breath of the Wild,
a set date for their first
like
party
Breath of the
exclusives,
Wild,
it comes.
yep, that always comes. Nintendo don't play with that.
hmm Now, yes, we had a delay this year with The Last of Us Part Two, and Ghost of
Yep.
Tsushima had to get delayed because The Last of Us Two got delayed, but we still got both those games, right? And
Yeah.
they delivered what they were supposed to deliver with, right? Especially when they showed those games off, we looked at those games like, oh, they look really good, right? When they showed off Last of Us 2 gameplay, they went in depth with that. When they showed us Ghost of Tsushima gameplay, I was very impressed with that game in terms of what you're going to be able to do with those two games. When I seen Halo Infinite, I was like, okay, I'm hyped, but at the same time, this isn't boding well for the title that's supposed to carry the Xbox franchise, the Xbox name. Like,
Yeah.
what's happening? I don't know.
I agree. I agree 1,000%. I definitely was really disappointed when I seen that Halo. It just shows me that they just don't give a damn. That's how it shows me. Because they had time. You know what I'm saying? This ain't like a year. You know what I'm saying? They've been working this after Halo 5 came out. They already usually what happens is when they put out a game, they already starting production on the next installment. That's
Exactly.
usually how it is.
They're in the
So
concept phase of their next game in terms of what they want their next game to be, and then they enter production, they enter development. Like what was happening with Halo Infinite, and then when people in the media are like, hey, there were certain issues they you see because they're not very explicit as to what's happening, but they tend to drop they drop crumbs for us, right? So that
Yeah.
we can come to the conclusions ourselves and we're able to put the dots together, right?
Yeah.
And based on what's been happening in terms of studio departures, like there's been people that left the studio, the lead composer left, they have to get a new one. It's like, all right, is 343 a dysfunctional studio? That's a question we have to ask. Can 343 make a good Halo? Because I had faith that they could learn from Halo 4 and Halo 5 and make this game be what's supposed to be. Now they can still make this game good because the game's coming out next year, but
But it's no
this is a
excuse.
game.
It's no excuse. If that game comes next year and it's shit, that's on them.
That's on them. That's
That's
it.
on.
And it's like, all right,
That's no excuse.
tough decisions have to be made over there at Microsoft. Somebody's gonna have to make some tough decisions, especially for the future of Halo.
It's not looking good right now. Really, this with this delay, that means that shit better be polished. That shit. I don't want to hear. I don't want to have a game that's half-assed done, and then we're gonna wait for patches for a whole fucking year to have the game fully complete. I want that.
That's what I'm saying. And
Part
it's
of that.
like, all right, I look at the first party games and then some of the third party exclusives that Sony has, right? Versus what Xbox has, and I was like, listen, I know what I'm getting for the first year with Sony, right? And yeah, we
Yeah.
know some of the games that are coming to Xbox Series X as well for that first year, but Sony's just much more compelling. And that's just me being honest. It's not fanboyism, nothing like that. Oh, you're a Sony or Xbox. No.
No, it's
From
just
what I've
yeah.
seen as a consumer and as a gamer, PS5 appeals to me more than Xbox Series X right now because of how clear they've been with their messaging. Yes, Xbox has been more aggressive with their approach starting in December, showing off the Xbox Series X in December. But from the moment that PS5, from Sony showing off the PS5 and what it's capable of doing, and the hardware features and the games, I'm like, okay, like I have a clear picture of what's happening with PS5. I've always had a clear picture of what's been happening with Series X, but as of late, it's been a bit conflicting for me with Series X because now it's like, all right, what are you doing with your games? That showcase wasn't a great event. The fact that they were so confident after watching that June showcase from Sony and PS5 and saying, "Hey, we're gonna deliver." No, you guys didn't deliver up to expectations for what people had,
Yeah.
especially the expectations that they set for themselves.
I just feel like I don't know. I feel like they still haven't learned a lot from past generations since they got their ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? Because don't get me wrong, the console is great. The console, in terms of its hardware and the specs, amazing. But it's the content.
It's
What
always the
are you,
content.
it's the content. Content is king. Like Nintendo, that's why the great Owata, the old president of Nintendo, always says the content is always king. You know what I mean? You gotta have good content. I just feel like their content compared to PlayStation is just not up to par. You know what I'm
So
saying? This ain't a good start into the new generation.
here's the thing, right? Because Bond brings this point up a lot on Planet Xbox, and
Uh,
it's a really good point. It's the fact that Switch came out in 2017, I think.
what Twitch?
No, the Nintendo Switch.
17.
Yeah, 2017, right? Early 2017 Q1, the console drops.
And then their launch
Fast
title,
selling. They had
their
launch
launch title,
titles,
yeah, that was Zelda Breath of the Wild and some other things too. I forgot.
and it runs laps
And
around Xbox One sales, right?
yep, yep.
What happens, right? Because I still have faith that Xbox Game Studios can deliver on their first party titles heading into the future. Right now, like game for game, blow for blow, Sony just has a huge catalog of IPs that Microsoft can't compete with right now because a lot of these studios are still early. They're very young studios. They haven't had the time to be
Yeah,
nurtured under
yeah.
Microsoft like Sony has with their studios, right?
Sony already has. They already have a foundation already. These companies been working on it for years, so
Yes.
everybody knows about them. People are always prepared. Like, okay, boom. You know what I'm saying? Okay, boom. Where Xbox, they got all these studios, but they're not set. They don't have a foundation yet. So it's like
And then
it's basically, you know.
this
mm,
has to be the generation where they lay the foundation in terms of having their first party studios deliver on content, because if you don't have content to back Game Pass in terms of your first party, I don't know what the point is. At like, Game Pass is a great service, don't get me wrong, but I've always said, if Sony's very aggressive with PlayStation Now and putting their first party content on PlayStation Now is going to outsell Xbox Game Pass
Oh,
and take over.
they're getting there soon. If Xbox keep playing around, they're getting there soon.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, because
They're getting there
yes,
soon.
um, PlayStation Now does not have as much subscribers as Xbox Game Pass. We all know that, but they can if they focus on attach rate,
Yeah, if
especially
they get
if they continue to improve on that service.
exactly. You gotta have think about it. You still have, you know what I'm saying, you know, because remember, you still have some games that you can't download, you can stream and stuff like that. And also too, they can have some of their studios like, okay, when we release the game, it's automatically gonna be on PlayStation Now, which forces people to buy the subscription because the game is gonna be day one. I don't have to spend $60,
Now,
on PlayStation Now.
I don't know if Sony's gonna do day and date, because most of their first party games sells 10 million copies automatically. They reach,
Exactly.
so
So
they make that much
maybe the
money.
small, yeah, maybe the smaller ones first.
Yeah, like the smaller titles would get there first, or a lot of indies. If they can work some really good third party deals as well, they'll be golden.
Hmm.
Because Game Pass does have a lot of good third party games that get put on there. But
Yeah.
my point is, all right, PS5 is clearly gonna outsell Xbox Series X on launch.
Yeah.
There's
Yep.
no doubt about it. It's gonna outsell it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If Xbox doesn't come out with some compelling content by the end of 2021, heading into 2022, and we don't get some good announcements next summer, and Nintendo drops their Switch successor, we might have the same situation happen with Switch and Xbox One, with a Switch successor and Xbox Series X, where Nintendo is outselling Microsoft in terms of system sales.
You're right about that.
Because all Nintendo has to do is say, hey, we got a Switch successor, stronger CPU, stronger GPU, more RAM, 1080p
And,
display.
th- and think about it. And think about it. What happens if the Breath of the Wild sequel comes out on launch with that?
Exactly. That's all they have to
That
do.
that's all they have to
Breath
do.
of the Wild sequel launch with Switch successor. That's it. It's automatically selling.
That's all. That's all they got. That's all.
That's a mic drop. That's a mic drop right there. Now, will Nintendo do that? We don't know. But I'm giving a hypothetical. What if Nintendo does that? Because Nintendo does have the potential to outsell Series X, assuming that Microsoft doesn't get their shit
What's going on,
together.
man? What up, man? But yo, Jay, I'm gonna hit you up later. I'm gonna go hang out with my boyfriend.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.
It was good to get a different perspective inside here, because this is very challenging times for Microsoft. And a lot of people do have to make a decision as to what they're gonna get. Are they gonna get this PS5 right here or Xbox Series X? And what sells systems is content. And if you don't have content to back up what you're trying to sell, then nobody's gonna buy it. That's always how it is when it comes down to entertainment. Whether it's Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, if you got content to back those services, people will watch your TV shows and pay that subscription. If you got good games to launch with your system, and you know you have a library of games that's coming down the line, then we're gonna buy your system, we're gonna be invested. And this is something that Microsoft has to figure out. Like, this Halo Infinite news is very disappointing. The positive aspect of it is that they have time to polish their game and make the game that was supposed to be made, that we were supposed to see in the Xbox Game Showcase. But if they use this time and they use this delay and still don't deliver us the game that we were supposed to get, it's GG's. It's gonna be a repeat of history. So this is gonna be it. Probably gonna stream some games later. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'm out.